Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News. It's episode number 129 on this Thursday, February 29th, 2024, and a happy leap year to all of you. Normally, we don't ever have a show of this caliber or go to a 29th day in February. It's every 4 years that leap year is celebrated, and we're going to really look at leap year just a little bit here, give you an article that we think you might be interested in. Anyways, we also have other articles as well, too. But, of course, let's start it all off. Of course, I am the host of this show, Jason DeCanio, wishing you a happy leap year and hope that you're having a fantastic day as well. And on the program today, we have our three topics of pretty great interest here. Have you ever thought about ramen? Yeah, when you eat ramen noodles, or the cup of noodles, there's an interesting and delicious history about them. And we're going to look at that very much. We'll give you that information in just a little bit. And if you're an extrovert and you're the person that loves to always spend outside, because introverts are always inside and extroverts are always outside. Well, if you're an extrovert, here's how you're wasting your money. So we're going to give you tips and tricks to better, use your money wisely. So that way you still have some at the end of the month to pay your bills or whatever you decide to do with your money. Okay. And here's an interesting thing. Remember we were talking about Diet Coke and Coke Zero? Well, we're going to be looking at scallions versus green onions. If you're a fan of the vegetable, and I love both, I didn't know there was a difference. I thought scallions were green onions. No, there's a total difference, actually. We're going to give you that story toward the end of the program. Plus, the headlines, sports, and other important information. Also, what day is today? Our motivation of the day. And of course, we also have leap year coming up as well. So we're going to find a story on leap year and do that cover story the last half hour of the program after the third article. And right before the motivation of the day. And of course, our final look at Black History Month. Now, I'm not sure if we even have anything of that sort, but I might be able to check on that during the commercial. If there is, we will definitely have something going on with the historic events of February 29, 2024. We also have the Chilling 3000 Hangout episodes. We're not on last night, but David told me that Jason Kelly's interview will be on tonight. So stay tuned for that. We'll put up a banner towards the end of the program to give you all that information, okay? Last night's Wipe Those Tears was a fantastic show as the 23rd episode came to a conclusion. We're in the Jays for next week, and we're going to be looking at some fantastic games next Wednesday that'll begin with the letter J, and I think you're in for a treat on some of these. If you were looking down a little bit to see where we're going to be and get some preparedness, great. Join us for an episode of it. If you're a part of the audience, definitely put your scores and how you would rate some of the games in the comments. We'd love to hear from you, okay? All right, and as you also know, too, I still am on week 14 this week, and it's doing fantastic. So I'm at 29 pounds down, and my total weight is 305. So I am close. I'm 5 pounds away from 300 to the 300 mark and a pound away from 30 pounds. That would be fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to do every bit of my effort to continue on my weight loss journey of 185. And please hold me accountable for it, because as I told you when we started this back in November, I'm asking my audience to hold me accountable. I only think I gained once in the time that I've been on the plan in the 13 weeks. And I gained about 2 pounds, but then I lost a pound and a half of those 2 pounds. So I really made up for the difference. But I've tried some different things, and it worked out pretty well. We'll look at that a little bit later on as well, too. Okay, right now we're going to get you back. Started off with the headlines for today, February 29, 2024, from the NPR. Florida is releasing Jeffrey Epstein's grand jury report. Jeffrey Epstein was a wealthy financier who was charged with paying dozens of underage women over many years for sex. He died in a jail cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. And climate. How scientists are using facial recognition, artificial intelligence to track humpback whales. After being hunted for decades, Humpback whales return to the Pacific Ocean in big numbers. Now, new technology is revealing that underwater heat waves are taking a toll on the recovery. Oh boy. Scores killed trying to get food from an aid convoy during a chaotic scene in Gaza. Health officials in Gaza say over 100 are dead after Israeli troops fired on a crowd that was trying to pull food from the convoy. Israeli officials said the crowd had approached in a threatening way. Relatives in Lebanon mourned victims of Israeli strikes, including a 5-year-old girl. Photographer Diego Ibarra Sanchez accompanied mourners in southern Lebanon after Israel stepped up airstrikes that claimed the lives of civilians and Hezbollah fighters. The human cost of climate-related disasters is acutely undercounted, new study says. A new study counts the human health costs from increasingly costly and dangerous extreme weather in the U.S. And as you know, of course, this is the final day of Black History Month in the U.S., and this year's theme, of course, is African Americans and the arts. We're compiling stories, music performances, and podcasts related to the Black experience. My daughter sold Girl Scout cookies. Here's what I learned in the Thin Mint trenches. There are no Wonka-like scenes of Tagalong, rainbows, or do-si-do stools. But parents can be forgiven for feeling like Oompa Loompas, hardworking cogs in a well-oiled machine. Wow. SCOTUS takes on Trump immunity case. Gaza death toll surpasses 30,000. The Supreme Court will hear arguments in the Trump immunity case in April, and more than 30,000 people have been killed in Gaza since October. A story of Jewish Shanghai told through music. A fictional tale of the real-life Jewish community in Shanghai during World War II, with a cross-cultural love story at its heart, is premiering at the New York Philharmonic on Thursday. Yes. Okay, we all know about how genetically modified pigs could end the shortage of organs for transplants. Scientists are optimistic that gene-edited animals could provide a new source of organs for transplantation. Pig organs modified to minimize rejection are now being tested in humans. Whoa. Virginia high school students take center stage for Black History Month celebration. High school students in Alexandria, Virginia honor Black history with art, dance, and theater. Biden and Trump are both at the border today staking ground on a key 2024 issue. President Biden is trying to go on the offensive on migration, an issue that is a big liability this year. He's visiting the Texas border on the same day as former President Donald Trump. The Transportation Department proposes new rules for how airlines handle wheelchairs. Airlines often damage or lose wheelchairs. Now the Biden administration is proposing new standards for how airlines accommodate passengers with disabilities. ExxonMobil is suing investors who want faster climate action. The oil and gas giant is suing investor groups that want it to slash climate pollution. Interest groups on both sides of the case say it could lead to more lawsuits against activist investors. In the field notes on reporting the Israel-Hamas war, the first in a two-part special series featuring conversations between embedded host Kelly McEvers and NPR reporters who have been on the ground during the current conflict in Gaza. In the first episode, NPR's Daniel Estrin talks about the challenges of reporting on the Israel-Hamas war and the work of his colleague Anis Baba from inside Gaza. Family Dollar is fined over $40 million due to a rodent infestation in its warehouse. The Food and Drug Administration found dead and live rodents and their feces and urine. More than 1,200 rodents were exterminated after fumigation at the warehouse, which serves more than 400 stores. Older U.S. adults should get another COVID-19 shot, health officials recommend. The CDC said Americans 65 and older should get another dose of the updated vaccine that became available in September, if at least 4 months has passed since their last shot. Can Speaker of the House Mike Johnson make a deal? Well, despite a last-minute agreement to push a deadline for a shutdown, Congress and the White House have to agree on how to fund the government. So far, all they've been able to do is kick the can down the road. Ghana's parliament passes anti-LGBTQ plus bill that could imprison people for years. The bill criminalizes members of the LGBTQ plus community as well as its supporters, including promotion and funding of related activities and public displays of affection. And finally, House passes stop gas spending bill as part of a broader funding deal. The House voted 320 to 99 to approve a stop gap spending bill. The Senate is expected to vote on the measure quickly, not stop gas, stop gap. And there you have it, folks. The headlines for today, February 29, 2024. Let's go to the NBA. We had a lot of scores over the course of the last 2 days that we didn't cover, so let's go ahead right now and take a look at those scores. Starting with the NBA, we'll go back as far as we'll go back far as Tuesday night. Yep. The Magic beat the Nets 108 to 81. They swamped them. Let's lose again as they can't win again, can't keep a streak going. No matter, even if they got the coach's first win, doesn't matter. Magic came out and said, "Screw you." Yep. Cavaliers 121, Mavericks 119. It was the Warriors over the Wizards 123 to 112. Hawks over the Jazz 124 to 97. Pelicans over the Knicks 115 to 92. Celtics beat the 76ers 117 to 99. It was the Timberwolves over the Spurs 114 to 105. Bucks over the Hornets 123 to 85. Pistons actually beat the Bulls. They win only for maybe the ninth time in how many games? They beat the Bulls by 10, 105 to 95. Wow. And the Thunder beat the Rockets 112 to 95. And the Heat over the Trailblazers 106 to 96. In yesterday's games, the Mavericks over the Raptors 136 to 125. Pacers 123, Pelicans 114. The Bulls survived an overtime game against the Cavaliers, beat them 132 to 123. Timberwolves over the Grizzlies 110 to 101. Nuggets over the Kings 117 to 96. And the Lakers upset the Clippers at the Staples Center 116 to 112. Tonight's games, 7 o'clock face-off. Tip-offs. Tip-off at 7 o'clock with the Bucks and the Hornets, the Jazz and the Magic, the Nets and the Hawks in the Barclays Center at 7:30. Warriors at the Knicks at 7:30. At 8:30, the Thunder and the Spurs. Rockets at the Suns at 9 o'clock. Heat at the Nuggets at 10. And the Wizards will take on the Lakers at 10:30 tonight. All right, let's look at the NHL and see how our hockey teams have done today, or the last 2 days, actually. Let's take a look at Tuesday night. Tuesday night, Golden Knights beat the Maple Leafs 6-2. It was the Panthers 3, Sabres 2. Canadians over the Coyotes 4-2. Flyers over the Lightning 6-2. Red Wings over the Capitals 8-3. It was the Predators over the Senators 4-1. Jets over the Blues 4-2. Hurricanes 3, Wild 2. Flames over the Kings 4-2. The Avalanche 5, Stars 1. Penguins over the Canucks in an overtime game 4-3. And the Devils whomp the Sharks 7-2. Yesterday's games, there was only 2 of them. The Rangers over the Blue Jackets 4-1. And an OT, the Oilers over the Blues 3-2. Tonight's games face off between the Coyotes and the Maple Leafs at 7. Sabres at the Lightning. Canadians at the Panthers. Golden Knights at the Bruins. Hurricanes at the Blue Jackets. Islanders at the Red Wings. At 8 o'clock, the Jets will take on the Stars. Wild at the Predators. Avalanche at the Hawks, Blackhawks at 9. Penguins at the Kraken at 10. Kings at the Canucks at 10. And the Ducks will take on the Sharks at 10:30. MLB spring training. Well, so far, we've seen some pretty good action from the New York Mets in the spring training. I think they've won, according to what they said, the last 4 games in a row. So let's take a look at those spring training games. There was a lot of them. Let's go back to Tuesday. Whew. Okay, Tuesday. Yankees lose to the Rays 4-2. It was the Pirates 13, the Braves 4. Nationals over the Astros 10-3. Phillies and Twins tied at 3. They ended a 3-3 tie. Orioles over the Tigers 5-2. Red Sox and Cardinals in a 3-3 tie. Tigers over the Blue Jays 6-4. Mets beat the Marlins 7-1. Royals over the Rockies 4-3. The Athletics whomped the Guardians 11-2. Mariners and the Giants end up in a 10-10 tie. Same with the Reds and the Cubs 6-6. Dodgers over the White Sox 9-6. Angels over the Brewers 6-4. Padres over the Royals 6-3. And the Rangers over the Diamondbacks 10-3. Then in yesterday's games, the Braves and the Phillies take a 7-7 tie. Orioles 12, Twins 3. Tigers beat the Pirates 5-3. Nationals over the Red Sox 4-3. Blue Jays 3, Rays 2. The Astros over the Marlins 6-1. Mets shut out the Cardinals 3-0. Padres over the White Sox 3-1. Giants over the Athletics beating the Giants. Wow, the Athletics won 2 in a row, 7-4. Diamondbacks 8, Guardians 6, Rangers 6, Dodgers 4. The Cubs over the Brewers 6-1. The Royals over the Mariners 9-7, and the Rockies beat the Angels 3-1. Today there was there was some finals here. Red Sox beat the Tigers 5-2. Braves over the Rays 12-9. Nationals over the Cardinals 3-1. Orioles 9. Pirates 8. Braves shut out the Twins 5-0. Blue Jays over the Phillies 5-0. In the bottom of the third right now, the Rangers have a 2-1 lead over the Brewers. Bottom of the third, Rockies 5, Cubs 2. Bottom of the fourth, White Sox 1, Royals nothing. In the bottom of the fourth, Athletics losing to the Padres 4-3. In the bottom of the third, the White Sox and the Mariners are tied at 3 apiece. In the bottom of the fourth, the Angels have a 3-0 lead over the Guardians. And finally, in the bottom of the fourth, Diamondbacks 2, Giants at 1. And 6:05 tonight, Mets will play the Astros, Marlins and the Yankees at 6:35, and the Dodgers will take on the Reds to wrap out tonight's spring training games. Okay, we covered a lot there in the sports. And so with the important information coming up on tomorrow's show, of course, is our town hall style show where we'll be looking at some more positive topics. I will be talking to you about communication and friendship for a half hour tomorrow on the program to wrap out the end of the week. And I'll let you also know that next Wednesday and the following Wednesday, I will have 2 of my co-hosts covering Wednesday's shows. That's March 6th with Brian Snow, and Mark Leota will take on March 13th. The reason I'm doing this is to take half of the week, one of the days off during the week, and give it to my co-hosts so they have an opportunity to host some shows when they have the available time. So I decided to pop the question. The only other person who has not been asked, of course, is Brandon Martin. And Brandon, if you're watching, would you like to take March 20th? If you do, great. If not, then I can always have Brian or Mark pick up another week. Whatever the case, I would like to have Wednesdays off and have my co-host continue to pick up the show, so that way we have 5 days a week of shows for you. So that way we don't have to continually skip episodes and be so far behind, with things. They can take care of stuff for me during that Wednesday, and of course do their own articles. So they'll pick the articles, what they're going to talk about. You'll just have to tune in to find out and see what they're going to do. All right. Okay. It is 4:17 right now, going on 4:18, and when we come back, we will look at what day is today, and we'll also give you an article or two on leap year, so we'll look at that as well. When we come back with more of DMS 3000 News right after this.
Oh, wow. Pizza. Who delivered?
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Oh, it's still hot. Delivery guy must have flown here.
Nobody flew anywhere. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
DiGiorno?
DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza is a whole new kind of frozen pizza. Its crust rises and bakes up fresh like pizzeria pizza.
Wow, tons of toppings, too. I hope you tip the guy.
Yeah, $50.
What?
You were so cute.
Stop it.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
You ever notice you can't really smell your own breath?
Hi, Tim. Problem, Tim?
You can smell other people's breath, but not your own, even though it's right under your nose. So you search for fresh, clean breath, or face the consequences.
Hey, guys.
Want fresh, clean breath? Get the only mint with Redson, and be certain with Certs.
New cherry Coke, just out and outrageous.
Cherry Coca-Cola.
Check it out and find out. Taste is what it's all about. Outrageously smooth, outrageously light. Cherry makes it wild, Coca-Cola makes it right. New cherry Coke, outrageous. New cherry Coke,
Outrageous!
you gotta get dirty. You know, if you go through life just sticking to the roads, and if you're designed to be off-road, then use it. Getting dirty's tons of the fun. I think it's a mental cleansing, if you will, cleaning your insides while dirtying your outsides. And that's what Chevron with Techron's all about. It helps keep my engine clean and emissions low.
No gasoline cleans your engine better than Chevron with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
Man, what a rush.
Hi, I'm your conscience. No, really, I am. Listen, I wouldn't give that to the kids if I were you. You see, you expect a conscience to say no to things that taste extra good, but not anymore. Drake's Cakes, good as always, and better than ever. No tropical oils, low cholesterol, or even no cholesterol, and low sodium. So when the kids ask for a Drake's Cake, I can say, go for it, Mom. Is this gonna be fun or what?
Hey, look at this.
What?
Save nearly $750.
With that kind of money, we could fly south.
Except we don't migrate.
No, I'm talking actually fly. Sit back, relax, maybe work on my novel, and I won't forget the little birds out there. Actually, yes, I will.
Wow, money changed you.
Just keeping it real. Do people still say that?
Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds to spend on whatever you dream up.
All right, welcome back to the show here. We're ready for what holidays today, and we got a good one for you. How about this? National Toast Day, and I'm not talking about toasting with champagne glasses. National Bread Toast Day. That's the one we're talking about here on this leap day. Why not? National Toast Day is celebrated on the last Thursday in February, and this year it takes place on February 29th. It pays homage to a food that is oft ignored, but has an oh-so-important role to play when it comes to breakfast, brunch, or even snacking purposes. The art of making toast is brilliant in both its simplicity and the variety of ways in which one can end up with toast. It's a physical marvel, too, when one thinks of how different bread and toast are, despite them technically being the same thing. Toast can be crunchy, warm, and makes you want to eat a whole lot more, whereas bread has a denser consistency, which often satiates your appetite faster. Whatever the case, we love toast for how versatile it can also be. National Toast Day was observed in 2014 in the UK. It was established by Tiptree World Bread Awards with Brook Food to celebrate the country's love of toast and all the varieties of bread that can be used to make toast. Indeed, we'd go so far as to say that a love for toast is probably universal as far as bread-consuming nations go, which is why its popularity has spread to the U.S. too. Our aim is to spread the word so that National Toast Day can be celebrated all around the world. After all, toast is something many of us may want to celebrate all day, every day. To trace the history of toast is to go back to the origins of bread itself. The earliest evidence of flour dates back some 30,000 years back, so we know that people were using it to make bread of some sort, probably a flatbread, like matzah or something of that sort. Bread as we know it today may have been invented in ancient Egypt, where the Egyptians discovered that if dough was left out, it would rise, and baking it after led to a lighter, fluffier consistency. By 3000 BC, the closed oven was invented in Egypt to bake leavened bread. It was then observed that leavened bread would become hard if left out and therefore difficult to eat. The solution? Scorching the bread proved to make it more palatable and increased its shelf life. Hence, toast was born. And the word toast originates from the Latin word lostum, or tostum. Tostum meaning to burn or scorch, as toasting bread over fire became popular in the Roman Empire. By and by, with the invention of the electric toaster and automatic bread slicers, toast became a staple in almost every urban household. Yep. Here's the timeline. Starts 3000 BC. The oven is invented as the Egyptians invent the first closed oven. Go to 1893, bounce to 1912, and finally, National Toast Day is established in 2013. So, here are your activities today. Eat toast, but do it naturally. This one was obvious, but we have to include it. And pick your favorite type of bread and pop it in the toaster. Then load it with the topping of your choice. Sweet or savory or both. There are no limits when it comes to the things one can put on toast. Well, almost. To celebrate toast in style, why not plan for your own toast party? It can be as fancy an affair as you like. Some people make an evening of it by toasting a variety of different breads, from sourdough to multigrain, you name it. And they then bring their favorite toast toppers and have a toasty time. Some other fun ideas could be making a toast-themed caricature board, or do an outdoor bonfire, toasting bread over it. We're giving you just a taster to whet your appetite for more. There are many fun stories around the world of toast and how the name came to be. The word itself has several shades of meaning and usage, so it may be a fun pursuit to follow the breadcrumbs and find out more about this nifty form of a meal. Here's 5 unique ways toast is consumed around the world. Now, in the UK, toast is a breakfast staple and is usually eaten with baked beans, eggs, or marmite. Yeah. Southern Sri Lankans commonly pair their toast up with curry soup and mint tea. South Koreans make a whopping sandwich out of toast, topping it with fried egg, veggies, meat strips, and sauces. Southeast Asian countries commonly top toast with coconut jam. And in Australia, they are known for their love of toast topped with Vegemite, a strongly flavored spread made of yeast extract. And why we love National Toast Day? Well, let's face it, toast is delicious on its own. Slathered with melted butter or topped with almost anything sweet and savory. For this reason alone, it deserves its day in the sun. And who doesn't love a good food holiday, as it provides us with the perfect excuse to indulge in that food if you needed a reason to. Try something new with toast is our recommendation for celebrating this day. And in countries like Japan, toast art is a big trend, and many artists have achieved fame thanks to their toast art. We bet that's something you may not have considered, so get Googling. What is your favorite topping for toast? Are you a butter, cream cheese, peanut butter, marmalade, or something else that whets your willy? Perhaps you like French toast. You know, what you put on in the fry pan when you beat an egg with a little cinnamon over the toast, and then, put it in the skillet and serve it up over some maple syrup or some honey. Whatever the case, whether it's American toast, French toast, Brazilian toast, whatever the case, the next time we'll see the National Toast Day will be on Thursday, February 27th, 2025. All right. And that is a look at our what holiday is today. Pretty good. When we come back, we're going to look at our first article of the day. And that first article is The Interesting and Delicious History of Ramen, followed by, if you're an extrovert, here's how you're wasting your money. Okay? We'll be back with more DMS 3000 news right after this.
So how's the family?
Talking me out of house and home, that's how. Ouch. I keep hearing about that Metro PCS family plan.
What, do you mean the one that's supposed to let your family talk all they want without having to share minutes? That one?
Yeah, what? It's not a real...
No, I'm just... Come on. Does anything that amazing ever turn out to be true?
Yeah, I guess not.
A family plan so good it sounds like make-believe. Add 4 unlimited lines for just $100 a month. Metro PCS.
Hello.
Unlimit yourself.
The adult world is designed to keep us moving. And while this may make us more efficient, it's not exactly a party. Luckily, technology has produced a cure. It's called a Game Boy, the personal game-playing system from Nintendo, with lots of sports, action, and puzzle games to choose from. And it comes with a puzzle game Tetris. It could change your outlook.
I'm sorry, sir. Your flight's been delayed.
Cool. Game Boy by Nintendo. Have you had your fun today? Now you're playing with power. Portable power.
Man, when they see me wearing this Thai costume, they're gonna have to give me some of that delicious Thai cashew chicken from Panda Express.
When they see you in that getup, my friend, they're gonna lock you up and toss the key.
Eddie, all your negative energy is really starting to affect my palong. That's Thai for mood.
Really? Well, what's Thai for cuckoo?
Thai Cashew Chicken is back. White meat chicken breast, fresh vegetables, and crunchy cashews, all tossed in a sizzling wok. Enjoy a taste of Thailand, only at Panda Express.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join the judgment-free zone now through January 12th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating. Always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Plus, work out anytime with most clubs open 24 hours. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, January 12th.
This jar is in almost every country in the world. That's because in every country in the world, there are beautiful women who want to stay beautiful. And what's in this jar has helped more beautiful women stay beautiful than any other beauty cream in the world. The cream in this jar is cold cream. The name on this jar is Pond's. Pond's Cold Cream. It helps make the world more beautiful.
This is a pearl. It's one of the simplest, loveliest forms in nature. I like the idea of nature. You know, being natural in everything, especially my hair. So I use liquid Prel. It lathers like mad and then rinses out completely. It leaves no deposits in my hair. All it leaves is the shine, the glow, the natural beauty of hair itself. Liquid Prel for natural beauty. Like my pearl.
You recognize that woman? Well, she was on Mork and Mindy for almost the entire run. She's Pam Dawber, folks, and she started that Pearl commercial almost 50 years to the date, 49 to be exact. I think 1975 was that date the Pearl shampoo commercial came out. Right about 3 years later, she landed that role with Robin Williams on Mork and Mindy, and well, her fantastic career took off even after Mork and Mindy. So, Pam Dawber, what a great person you are, and a great actress, accomplished in everything, in great movies, wonderful commercials, and of course, Mork and Mindy. All right, let's go to our first look at some great food here. You know, ever wondered where your cup noodles came from? Yeah, well, Lila L. Shanaway gives us the interesting and delicious history of ramen noodles. Yep. You may think of ramen as college kid cuisine, but dressier versions of this noodles and broth dish with toppings such as roast pork, fish cakes, bamboo shoots, and poached eggs blow the instant kind out of its bowl. And over the last few years in the United States, gourmet ramen restaurant options have jumped more than 30%, so you can likely enjoy this Asian sensation close to home. Chinese immigrants first brought the wheat noodle recipe to Japan, according to historian and ramen expert George Solt. In his book, The Untold History of Ramen, he tells of a scholar from China during the 17th century who instructed the Japanese feudal lord he worked for to add pork and vegetables to his noodle soup. Well, by 1910, the first ramen restaurant in Japan, Rara-Ken, was serving the dish to Tokyo diners. It was called Shina Soba in Japanese. Shina or Shina is an archaic Japanese word for China, Shina. And while soba are thin buckwheat noodles. But the Japanese pronunciation of lamian or lamian, the Chinese word for the soft wheat noodles, evolved into today's ramen. World War II interrupted the dish's popularity as food shortages led the Japanese government to ban luxury foods, including ramen. Well, then in 1945, as the 7-year Allied occupation of Japan began, the worst rice harvest in decades caused widespread hunger. Fearing that food shortages might alienate the population and lead them to gravitate toward communism, the U.S. occupiers began to import American wheat into Japan. The renewed availability of wheat noodles refueled the demand for ramen, which became a street food as stalls popped up to sell the tasty and affordable dish to the hungry population. Tokyo remains the ramen capital with well over 10,000 shops. In 1958, a Taiwanese businessman named Momo Momofuku. Momofuku Ando. What a name. Created a dehydrated version of ramen that only required the addition of boiling water. And then in the 70s, it came to the U.S. in styrofoam cups under the name Cup O Noodles. Yes. In 1993, the company dropped the O, so now the official name is Cup Noodles. The Americanized version had shorter noodles that could be eaten more easily with a spoon as opposed to the traditional chopsticks. Today, there are 2 museums in Japan dedicated to Ando's creation, and his name inspired Korean-American celebrity chef David Chang's Momofuku Noodle Bar in Manhattan. Chang's restaurant, an earlier seller of gourmet ramen, helped change the perception of the dish from a cheap, prepackaged pantry staple to a complex and indulgent treat. Hungry visitors to ramen shops can typically choose from 4 broths: shoyu, which is soy sauce based, miso, made with fermented soybean paste, shio, or salt, offered with chicken or fish base, and tonkusu, which is rich and fatty, made from pork. The salty broth is what gives ramen its mouth-watering umami, a pleasant, savory taste. And Tokyo remains the ramen capital of the world, with well over 10,000 ramen shops. Among them, Ikaran, with locations not only in Japan but also in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and New York City. Whether you choose shio or shoyu, instant or gourmet, Itaka Demakasu, bon appetit. There you go. What a name. There you have it, folks. Enjoy your ramen with all due respect. Fantastic. All right, let's look at the leap year. I wanted to show you that we have an article on leap year since we have some time in this segment. So let's look at that article right now, because I think you'll find this very interesting. Let's pull it up right now and give you a little glimpse of when the next leap year is in 2024 and what, the leap year facts you probably didn't know about. When is the next one? And here are the facts you don't know about by Brandon Spector. Okay. So, here are some fascinating leap year facts, all along with the details about why Leap Day is February 29th. New Year's isn't the only reason to celebrate a new calendar year. In fact, there's an unofficial holiday you should know: Leap Day and Leap Year. But why do we have leap year anyways? Well, one solar year, that is the amount of time it takes our planet to accomplish one full rotation about the sun, takes roughly 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 48 seconds. That extra 5+ hours nobody likes to talk about are precisely why we have leap years. The 366-day years that occur every 4 years sometimes include encouraging women to propose to men while also making celebrity birthdays. Very confusing for one of 1,461th of the population. But when is the next leap year, and is leap year coming again in 2024? Here's everything to know, along with 9 reasons Leap Day is an unofficial holiday that are worth knowing. So a leap year is a calendar year that has an extra day, if you didn't already know. Compared with our common year, the point of leap years is to help adjust our Gregorian calendar, also known as the 365-day calendar you can find on your desk or phone, to the solar calendar, and make sure we celebrate solar events like the spring and autumn equinoxes with some regularity every year. But why is February 29th called Leap Day? Well, because February 29th is our extra day. In 2024, a leap year, is it? Yes, the next leap day will be February 29th, 2024, which is today. When is the next leap year after that? It'll be in 4 years, in 2028, followed by 2032, and 2036. And is a leap year really every 4 years? Yes, unless it isn't. Even adding an extra day to February every 4 years doesn't quite do the trick, which is why scientists sometimes call for a leap second, like they did in 2015 on June 30th at 11:59 and 60 seconds p.m. How do you remember if it's a leap year? Simple. If the last two digits of the year are divisible by 4, for example, 2016, 2020, and 2024, then it's a leap year. Century years are the exception to this rule. They must be divisible by 400 to be leap years. So 2000 and 2400 are leap years, but 2100 will not be one. And as a bonus, U.S. leap years almost always coincide with election years. What's crazier than February 29th? Well, a woman proposing to a man, says history. Consider adding this historical fact to your list of trivia questions. After Pope Gregory XIII instituted the Gregorian calendar, the idea of adding February 29th every 4 years seemed so ridiculous that a British play joked it was a day when women should trade their dresses for breeches and act like men. The play was meant as satire, but some early feminists must have been inspired. And by the 1700s, women were using Leap Day to propose to the men in their lives. The tradition, now called Bachelor's Day or Sadie Hawkins Day, peaked in the early 1900s and continues today in the UK, where some retailers even often offer discount packages to women popping the question. Now, if we're looking at history a bit closer to home, then we should focus on Massachusetts. The Salem witch trials weren't a fun time in colonial America, and there was a particularly negative connection with Leap Day. The first warrants for arrest in the Salem witch trials went out on February 29th, 1692. And it's rare to be born on Leap Day, but what about dying on Leap Day? Oh, man. Well, according to the World Heritage Encyclopedia, in the 1800s, British-born James Milne Wilson, who later became the 8th Premier of Tasmania, was born on a leap day and died on a leap day too. Wilson died on February 29th, 1880, on his 17th birthday, or aged 68 in regular years. And what do Tony Robbins and Gioacchino Rossini have in common? Well, they are both extremely successful in their respective fields, but more to the point, they were both born on February 29th. According to BBC, the odds of being born on February 29th are 1 in 1,461, which makes it particularly rare for one leapling, as they are called, to meet another. Rarer still is the possibility that 3 children in the same family would be born on 3 consecutive leap days. But that's exactly what happened when the Henriksen family of Norway, Heidi Henriksen, was born on February 29, 1960. Her brother Olaf 4 years later on February 29, 1964. And baby Leif Martin 4 years after that on February 29, 1968. Now, according to many government agencies, the siblings would not be legally considered a year older until March 1st on non-leap years. In 2024, we could officially say happy actual birthday leaplings. And only Swedes and hobbits celebrate February 30th. Well, February 30th? Yeah. This even rarer date occurred in Sweden and Finland in 1712. That looks like Dumbledore, doesn't it? Yeah. Or Professor Dumbledore, yeah. When they added an extra leap day to February to help catch up their outdated Julian calendar with the new Gregorian calendar. There is, however, one race of people who celebrate February 30th every year. Hobbits. The wee folk of J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings universe observe 12 extra long 30-day months every year, including Solmath, translated into the text to February. And it's called the Leap Day Cocktail. This colorful cousin of the martini was invented by pioneering bartender Harry Craddock at London's Savoy Hotel in 1928. According to the 1930 Savoy Cocktail book, it is said to have been responsible for more proposals than any other cocktail ever mixed. Whether or not you're in the market for a freshly soused spouse, you can make your own Leap Day cocktail with Craddock's original recipe, which is 1 dash of lemon juice, 2/3 gin, 1/6 Grand Marnier, and 1/6 sweet vermouth. Shake, serve, garnish with a lemon peel, and enjoy the flood of bittersweet flavors. It's like a marriage in your mouth. And celebrate Leap Day with travel deals in a rare French magazine. How does one celebrate a holiday that's not really a holiday? Well, by shopping, obviously. Many businesses observe the rarity of Leap Day by offering massive deals. So take a minute to check in with any restaurants, hotels, or cruise lines you've been curious about. Chances are they have a promotion running. And if your travels take you to France, pick up a copy of the rare La Bougie des Sapeurs, or Du Sapeur, which is a French parody newspaper only published once every 4 years on Leap Day. Newsstand copies sell for €4.80 per issue, but generous investors can buy a lifetime subscription. And it's February 29th, good luck or bad luck? Well, it depends on who you ask. According to an old Scottish aphorism, leap year was never a good sheep year. The superstition that leap days are particularly lucky or unlucky has been debated throughout history and across cultures, and there's still no clear answer. For one thing, it's bad luck if you're a prisoner on a 1-year sentence that spans a leap day. Also, bad news if you work on a fixed annual salary, no extra pay for that extra day. On the other hand, leap day is a great luck if you pay a fixed monthly rent, 1 free day of living, or if you're Hattie McDaniel, in which case February 29th, 1940, was the day you became the first African-American to win an Oscar for your role as Mammy in Gone with the Wind. Will February 29, 2024 be lucky or unlucky? You'll just have to live through it and see. And so far, it's been pretty good for me today. There you have it, folks. A look at Leap Day in all of its glory. Great article indeed, and that should get you inspiring for the rest of the afternoon into the evening. We'll be back with more articles and a look at if you're an extrovert, here's how you're wasting your money. We'll be back with more DMS 3000. Boy, I can't get these things right. We'll be back with more 3000 news right after this.
We can always depend on the Kaminskis to count us.
Oh, boy, do I love this Serta mattress.
Oh no, they got a Serta too?
Oh, I like this.
Hey,
Serta.
I know that voice.
So nice, so comfortable, so... Oh.
Traitor. Hey, you comfortable now?
You'll feel the difference the moment you lie down. Serta, we make the world's best mattress.
TGI Friday's famous sizzling entrees that you know and love, like chicken, shrimp, and cheese, just got even hotter. With new delicious tastes like whiskey flat iron steak and the tastiest sizzling street noodles. Hurry in. Now starting at only $10. We bring the sizzle like no other. New sizzling entrees starting at $10. TGI Fridays, the home of endless apps. Endless apps every night, 9 p.m. to close.
Hello, this is Jay with some Dorito storage suggestions for all you parents. Look, right now you're probably hiding in that extra bag of Cool Ranch Doritos someplace real original, like behind the refrigerator or above the fondue pot. Look, the trick is to hide Doritos tortilla chips someplace kids never go, like near the lawnmower, behind a book, or in the back of any album recorded before 1964. So parents, think these things out and crunch all you want. We'll make more. Parents out of the room? Good. Okay, kids, here's the deal. Look, when you're looking for an extra bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, remember, lawnmower, book, or any album recorded before 64. So go where you've never gone before and crunch all you want. We'll make more.
I am the Burger King.
I love this place.
Dinner. It's a whole new thing, and it's happening at Burger King. Yeah, come in. I ordered the dinner basket thing. I want the dinner basket with the chicken. Oh, I go and get my own drink. Come here. I'll give you popcorn just to chill with. I got the popcorn. Right now it's time for table service. I am excited. Burger King, dinner basket, table service. 30 only one. Working up the appetite outside of BK. I'm thinking about the chicken or the shrimp, the steak or the Whopper, baked potato or the fries, slaw or the salad. You decide. Chicken, steak, Whopper, shrimp. So then they bring your food out in 4 to 8, and they wait on you. All right, what do you think about this whole concept, man? Table service. They bring it right out to you and serve you. Very good. And he's dipping it and... Very good. It's good, isn't it? It's your way, right away.
I love this place.
Flex.
Ice cream, Carvel. Ice cream, Carvel. We make fresh ice cream every day at Carvel Ice Cream. America's freshest ice cream every way at Carvel Ice Cream. Fresh Carvel Ice Cream.
How couldn't you just go for some Carvel ice cream right now? Well, I think if you're lucky enough to get it in Queens, most of the places in Carvel's stores still have those freestanding Carvels where you can go in and get your ice cream. Oh, gone are the days when I used to be able to do that. Well, that's another story, and I'll tell you about that tomorrow in the Communication and Friendship Town Hall Style Meeting, which is tomorrow at 4 o'clock, which is episode number 130. So join us on March 1st, which is the first day of March in our third month of the year. Boy, we're getting real close to that edition. So check it out, 4 o'clock tomorrow for the Town Hall Style on Communication and Friendship. Should be a very interesting story. And I'll tell you about one of my favorite spots, which is a Carvel ice cream shop. Next to Mr. Softy, of course. All right, let's get back to the show here. And if you're an extrovert, here's how you're wasting your money. Well, if you're outgoing, life of the party, big spender, yep, your personality can influence your money habits, says science. And, of course, Claire Gillespie is the author of this fantastic article, so let's see what she has to say. Overspending when you don't have a lot of disposable income is one thing money experts never recommend, and yet most of us own more stuff than we use. In his book, Happy Money, The Science of Smarter Spending, Michael I. Norton, professor of business administration in the marketing unit of Harvard Business School, says spending money gives us instant gratification. Now, new research recently published in the journal Psychological Science suggests your personality type can dictate your spending habits. Blaine Landis and Joe J. Gladstone from the School of Management, University College London, collected survey responses from 718 low-income customers of a UK bank, providing information about their age, employment status, income, savings, debt, and cash withdrawals. They also agreed to have their responses linked to their actual bank account data from the previous 12 months. Participants also completed a brief, validated measure of 5 core personality traits: openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Wow. The researchers found that people who register as extroverts spend more on status items such as foreign air travel, electronics, and art institutions than introverts. Interestingly, at high income levels, the difference between introverts and extroverts was less pronounced. Our findings suggest that extroverts compensate for having low income by spending more on items and experiences that reflect higher status, says Landis, who is the first author on the research. Well, in other words, individuals' spending patterns may reflect personality differences in how they respond to having low income. Landis added that it was no surprise that people who rate high on the personality trait extroversion, those who are sociable and assertive, would spend more of their money on status items compared with their less extroverted peers. And according to Norton, well, purchasing things for ourselves can make us happier in the moment, but spending money on experiences has a much greater correlation with overall happiness because experiences are usually shared with people. They make us happier than, well, a bunch of stuff. So making choices to spend money in ways that allow for more time with other people, even strangers, can lead to a better sense of well-being. And that applies whether we're low income or high income, extrovert or introvert. Wow, what a short story that was, but a very informative one. Great job. Thank you very much for that fantastic story from the Reader's Digest. 7 minutes to the 5 o'clock half hour. We'll be coming up with the next half hour of our program where we'll look at the final article, which is scallions versus green onions. What's the difference between the two? I always thought there was no difference. I thought they were the same. And, of course, we'll be looking at our motivation of the day. Plus, if I can dig it up, that final day in Black History Month, the 29th, to see if there is a leap year connection. We'll see if there is one. Of course, we'll be back with more DMS 3000 news right after this.
Show and tell time.
Another teddy bear? My teddy's name is Teddy Ruxpin. He talks, he tells stories,
Full batteries not included.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Yeah.
I really enjoy talking to people. I would like you.
Teddy Ruxpin, the storytelling bear, comes with illustrated book and cassette from Worlds of Wonder.
Wednesday.
I'm in love.
Charlie's little girl falls for an older guy with
Style.
Sally and Company. Then on George Burns Comedy Week,
I want to be known for my plays.
a serious, struggling playwright
Mr. Honeybunny, your car.
sells out.
Who's gonna take me seriously?
Well, I take you seriously.
Then, ready for high adventure, terror in outer space?
We'll have coffee.
Then you're ready for Robert Hayes, Julie Haggerty, and Peter Graves in Airplane 2. Wednesday.
Gleaming in the morning light, home of Shira shining bright, Crystal Castle.
You put it together. She was sold separately. You can pretend.
Magic things shine everywhere, cause it has a secret power. Lifted high on her throne, Shira saves the world alone. The fate of the world safe in Crystal Castle, Princess of Power.
Crystal Castle comes with everything you see here. Shira dolls sold separately. New from Mattel. Introducing Casey, the tape player that talks to you.
He winks, he talks to you. Hi, my name is Casey. Casey, it's amazing the things you can do. Casey tells stories and jokes too. What's a joke, Casey?
What do you get when you mix 2 ducks with 1 cow? Quackers and milk.
Casey, you're amazing.
Casey plays your tapes too. Batteries not included.
Santa Claus will be here real soon.
Casey, you're amazing.
Casey comes with activity book and cassette from Play School. Other cassettes sold separately.
All right, it's time now for our third article of the evening here, and we're getting closer to the end of our show. Well, it's a fast one for that matter. Here's an article I thought when I saw it, just like with Coke Zero versus Diet Coke, I knew there was a difference between drinking Coke Zero and Diet Coke. There's a slight taste and there's a difference in ingredients. But here's something I never thought I would ever see in my entire time of eating green onions and scallions for that matter. There's a huge difference between the two, and we're going to give you that difference right now in our look at scallions versus green onions. What's the difference? Oh, yeah. And Alyssa Sibberts is going to give us this difference in the green onion versus the scallion. Now, are these vegetables actually the same thing? Well, here's everything you need to know. We've been cooking long enough to know when we can swap out certain ingredients in our go-to recipes for others that will be just as tasty. But one ingredient pair that always trips us up is scallions versus green onions. And are they the same thing? Just known by 2 different names. Are they 2 different plants but can be used interchangeably? We set out to get the food facts for you. Much like jam versus jelly, sorbet versus sherbet, gelato versus ice cream, or soup versus stew, we're getting to the bottom of the scallions versus green onions debate. And here's everything you need to know about what they are, when to use them, and how they compare to similar vegetables, answering questions like, are chives green onions, and more. Scallions and green onions are usually the same plant, which means that, yes, they are frequently, but not always the same thing. They are part of the genus Allium, which is the group of vegetables and herbs that have a bulb that grows underground and includes garlic, shallots, and onions, all of which we separate from the stern or the stem before eating. Stem to stern, right? Whether they are labeled as scallions or green onions is generally up to the farmer or producer who sends the foods to the grocery store. Both are usually the plant Allium fistulosum. Fistulosum, yeah. Allium fistulosum, that's the genus species. This plant has long green stems that come together in a small, narrow white bulb, which isn't much of a bulb at all when compared with a larger onion, whose bulb grows large and round. However, the situation gets a bit more complicated with spring onions or Allium cepa. Like green onions, spring onions are harvested young and they are roughly the same size. The biggest difference is that while scallions have the straight-sided white section on the bottom, spring onions have a distinctly round bulb that looks just like a mini white onion. But if you harvest spring onions early before the bulb has grown, they are also considered green onions. So green onions can be Allium fistulosum or Allium cepa, but scallions are always Allium fistulosum. In other words, all scallions are considered green onions, but all Allium cepa green onions aren't considered scallions. Another point of confusion, in the United States, green onions and spring onions refer to two different things, but in Canada and the United Kingdom, green onions and scallions are both called spring onions. And in Mexico, spring onions are called green onions. For our purposes here in the U.S., round bulb equals spring onion, and straight bulb equals scallion or green onion. Now, can I use green onions in place of scallions? Yes. Unlike baking soda versus baking powder, which each play a distinct role in recipes, or club soda versus seltzer water, which are going to taste slightly different from each other, you never need to worry about substituting green onions versus scallions incorrectly, because they are usually the same plant. Scallions and green onions have the same taste. And even when green onions are Allium cepa, the taste is very similar to Allium fistulosum. Wow. So you can always use scallions and green onions interchangeably. And even though it is a small, straight-sided, the white bottom of the scallion or green onion tastes similar to a white onion, which is why it is typically cooked. The green part, on the other hand, has a more mild oniony flavor and doesn't have that distinctive bite of raw onion, which is why it's often used as a garnish. Scallions and green onions are used in a variety of cuisines, but they appear often in Asian cooking. Think scallion pancakes and scallion oil. Regardless of whether they are labeled as scallions or green onions, they are sold in bunches in the produce section. When shopping, look for sturdy, bright green stalks that aren't slimy or limp, with firm bulbs that don't look yellow. And as long as the allium fits the description, you can use it in any recipe that calls for scallions or green onions. Now, if you want to know about chives and green onions, the same? Well, despite also being a member of the allium family, chives are not the same as green onions and scallions. Chive refers to the allium Chenophrasum plant. Wow. The green chive stems do have a similar cylindrical appearance to those of green onions, but they are much, much smaller. So small, in fact, that fresh chives are typically found cut and boxed with the herbs in the produce section, while scallions and green onions are sold in bunches with the vegetables. Indeed, chives are typically cut from their bulbs before being packaged for sale, while green onions are sold with their bulbs intact. Chives are more delicate and have a milder flavor than scallions, meaning they can wilt easily and will lose their flavor if added to a recipe too early and overcooked. For this reason, chives are typically used as a garnish, such as atop a sour cream, dolloped baked potato, or a plate of perfect scrambled eggs. And what about leeks and green onions? Another member of the same family of plants as leeks, or Allium ampelophrasum. Wow. And while they actually look like giant scallions or green onions with a narrow white bulb at the bottom and long green stems on top, leeks are also a different vegetable. And while the green stems on green onions form small, skinny cylinders, a leek's leaves are flat and layered on top of one another. They are also much tougher than the green part of a scallion or green onion, which is why the toughest, darkest green parts at the tops of the leaves usually aren't eaten. Instead, you usually use the light green part and long white bottom half in recipes, cooking them in a similar manner to regular onions. Leeks have an even milder flavor than scallions, which is why they are featured in recipes more often. Think potato leek soup. Leeks are sold in bunches the same way green onions are. Just make sure to give them a good wash before you use them, as dirt tends to get caught in between the tightly layered leaves. And now that you've mastered scallions versus green onions, learn about the difference between oat milk versus almond milk, which we talked about, or try taking our food quiz to test your culinary smarts. Wow. Very good. Alyssa Saberts, she is a wellness and lifestyle writer who covers food, cooking, and science for Reader's Digest. And she has been writing about wellness and food for more than 10 years, with bylines in all recipes, Southern Living, Woman's World, Parents, Food and Wine, Very Well Family, CNN, and Time. She's also served as editor-in-chief for numerous special interest bookazines on intermittent fasting, thyroid health, and weight loss. Alyssa is the author of the OMAD Diet, a guide to the one meal a day lifestyle, and in her spare time, she loves to hike and read romance novels. Hey, that's a pretty good life. Thank you, Alyssa, for that fantastic article. Oh, by the way, there was one more thing also, too. Leeks have a very distinct licorice flavor, too, kind of close to fennel. So a fennel and a leek are almost similar in taste-wise, too. If you ever had a piece of fennel or a leek, it's kind of got almost like a licorice flavor too. That's why in fennel seeds, they put the fennel seeds in sausage. Fennel seeds is also what they make licorice sticks out of. If you're a big fan of licorice, well, you'd like fennel for that reason. I don't particularly care for it myself either. All right, well, that's the story of scallions and green onions. Now, let's look at the Leap Day moments in Black history. Yes, this is the final day of Black history. We've had a fantastic run look at almost a lot of historic events, but we now are going to cover some of the Leap Day moments in Black history by Mandel Mpofu. Yes, what a name. This is from the Bay State Banner, established 1965. So Black History Month provides an opportunity for people of African descent to reflect on the struggles and joys of the past, celebrate the progress made, and look forward to what is to come. It's also the shortest month of the year, a rolling joke in the Black community. But every 4 years, there's an extra day at the end of February. Leap years give Black History Month a bonus day, and this leap year, here's a look at the historic moments that occurred on the 29th day of February and the people who were born on this day. Hattie McDaniel became the first African-American to win an Academy Award on February 29, 1940. Kansas-born actress McDaniel won an Oscar for her role as Mammy in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. McDaniel had previously starred in John Ford's Judge Priest and The Little Colonel in 1935. But her roles, including her Oscar-winning one, drew criticism from the African-American community for their stereotypical portrayals of Black women, typically as maids or cooks. In 1947, McDaniel once again made history as the first African-American to star in a general audience radio show. Her successes spoke to the progress Hollywood was making, albeit slowly. It wasn't until 2 decades after McDaniel's Oscar win that another Black actor, Sidney Poitier, would win the award. On Leap Day in 1956, University of Alabama reinstated its first African-American student, Arthur Lucy, after the school had suspended her. Administrators had initially rescinded Lucy's admission after discovering that she was Black. But after the Brown versus Board of Education 1954 decision, Lucy was allowed to attend. And 2 days after she started attending classes, students began protesting her presence, setting off violent attacks protesting her admission. This led to Lucy's suspension, and assisted by lawyers Arthur Shores and Thurgood Marshall, who had previously helped her, Lucy took the issue to court. On February 29th, an Alabama judge ruled that Lucy being reinstated. Weeks later, the university expelled her. On February 29, 1968, after 7 months of investigation, the Kenner Commission, an ill-member body established by President Lyndon B. Johnson, released its report of the National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorders. The commission's primary finding was that uprisings and riots in inner cities were the result of Black frustration with the economy and with their treatment by white people, namely the police. The report recommended federal initiatives to improve the quality of life of African Americans with a focus on employment, housing, education, healthcare, and police brutality. Cullen Jones is a Bronx-born Olympic swimmer and two-time gold medalist born on February 29, 1984. He was the first African-American to hold a world record in swimming for the 4x100-meter freestyle relay at the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing. He competed alongside Michael Phelps. Riri Grist, born February 29, 1932, was a trailblazing opera singer with a notable international career. She became the first African-American to become a permanent member of the Zurich Opera in the 60s. Grist played the original Consuela in Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim's West Side Story. This year, she turns 92 years old. Augusta Savage was an enterprising New York-born sculptor born on February 29, 1892. She was the only African-American woman commissioned to create artwork for the 1939 New York World's Fair. She submitted The Harp, a sculpture cast in plaster, and one of the most photographed artworks at the event. Savage, a key figure in the Harlem Renaissance, had an illustrious career as a teacher and community art program director. She died in 1962. Other notable people in the arts born on bonus Black History Day includes Majesty Rose, a musician and former American Idol contestant, composer Mervyn Warren, and rappers Ja Rule, who released the song Always on Time, and Saul Williams, who also acts and writes poetry. They share the February 29th birthday with actors Ken Faree, who starred in Zombie, and The Boys actor Jesse T. Usher. Other Leap Day babies in sports include National Football League players Eric Nathan Marvin Kendricks of the Los Angeles Chargers and Chris Conley of the San Francisco 49ers. In basketball, there's Clarence Chucky Brown of the Cleveland Cavaliers, as well as Vonteego Cummings and Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers. And baseball has Terrence Long, who played for teams such as the New York Mets, San Diego Padres, and the Kansas City Royals. So, what do you think? Not bad. There you have it, friends. Fantastic article that pertains to Leap Day birthdays and the African American community. And that's a great way to end Black History Month. But remember what we've always said about Black History Month, folks. It should be celebrated every day of the year, not just during the month of February. As Morgan Freeman says, no one should have a Black History Month. It should be a Black History forever, because Black history is American history. Very well quoted. Great, great quote from the legendary actor himself, Morgan Freeman. And I happen to think Morgan Freeman is a genius, folks. Love his movies, but I'm also really fond more of his time on the Electric Company as Easy Reader. That's how he got his start, pretty much. And, well, you know, when it has good things flowing in your repertoire, and you're still doing movies to this day at his age, on and say, my God, where did the time go, right? Okay, well, let's go ahead and conclude our show today with, of course, the motivation of the day. And today's motivation of the day is entitled Avoiding New Regrets for Thursday, February 29, 2024. Regret does not bring back missed opportunities, but it can prevent you from taking current opportunities for granted. There's a good reason why regret can be so painful. It reminds you not to make a similar mistake again. Though you cannot escape the regrets you've already created, you can make positive use of them. You can learn from them and be motivated by them. With your choices today, you're able to avoid being burdened by additional regrets. You have the opportunity to leverage your past experience and thereby improve your future. Instead of being more regretful tomorrow, you can be more thankful. And rather than wishing you had done things differently, you can be satisfied with your choices, priorities, and actions. Consider what you can do right now to make that happen, and let your regrets recede further and further into the past. Thank you, Ralph Marston, for another fantastic motivation of the day from the Daily Motivator. Oh, love his words, folks. And I hope they help you get through the rest of your evening with great inspiration and great hope. All right, on tomorrow's program, of course, the Town Hall Style Show, episode 130, will be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock from 4 to 4:30. It's a half hour to talk about communication that has to do with friendship. A big part of friendship has to do with communication, and I think the two go hand in hand. So we'll talk about I will talk about my experiences of great friendship and the communication that was vitally important for that. And I'll also talk about a favorite hangout spot I used to remember back in New York, Carvel. Yeah, on my weight loss journey with you, but I'll even talk about some of my favorite places to eat and hangout spots as well. All of this tomorrow on DMS 3000 News, episode number 130. We'll hope to see you then. For now, Jason Icaro is saying, have a great day. Remember, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Good night.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Gary Townsend Network for more great content like this one.